Namaste. Welcome, beautiful souls. It's been a long time since I've talked to Marielle Tarot, and I have added this video to the end of the Marielle playlist. So this was some years back. I did a deep dive into the Marielle, and there have been other videos that I've added for the Wildcat cards and so forth. So there's, I believe that is all linked below for your convenience. And welcome. My name is Sadhana if you are new, and this is an amazing tarot deck. It never goes very far away from me. I have a deep respect and connection with it. And today's video is a member request. And there was an observation that there was a striking similarity between these two cards. And that's what I'm here to discuss today. So welcome, and welcome to Clevis. And those of you who are watching in the background, please feel free to join in whenever you feel so inclined. And I think on the surface, for sure, these two cards do look very similar, and how clever of you to notice this. So yeah, shall we begin with the a little bit about the astrology of the Marielle Tarot. So the timeline, the associations of the seasons are a little different in the Marielle. And the Queen and the suit of water. The suit of water is associated with Aquarius, which fell at the winter solstice. So this goes back, I think that this is Babylonian Sumerian astrology that Marielle is connecting this to. So there's this shift in access with the astrology. So the cups, and this shouldn't be too unfamiliar, I suppose. The cups are associated with water, so that's the same. And the fact that water, the fixed sign of water, Aquarius, the fixed sign of Aquarius is associated with water, not air. And that is a primary difference in this card. However, there are so many beautiful weavings here. And this whole shift of astrology is explained in Landscapes of the Abyss just before the court card section. And it takes years and a few readings to really digest this. And I think once you understand the principles of where she's coming from, the principles of the tarot, this is not that complicated. Each of the queens provides a tremendous, beautiful environment for their element to be nurtured. And the Queen of Cups nurtures the heart space, the element of water. There is a beauty and a trust in all of this. And you can see here in the Queen of Cups, sort of at high heart chakra, there is a crab, symbolic of the sign of Cancer. And this is so interesting because this also points to Golden Dawn astrology, which puts Queen of Cups as cardinal energy for Cancer. And so what all this leads me to believe is that there is this underlying mandala that no matter how you shake it up or how you pull the web, the connections are the connections. And within the Queen of Cups, whether she is connected to Aquarius or Cancer, whether she is water or she is air, there is something about her, and I should say not her, their presence, and that's something that is not dealt with in the Mariel Tarot, is the issue with pronouns. And when I say her, I'm referring to the qualities of feminine, the divine feminine, which is an aspect of all beings that supports our intuitive nature, our receptivity. And the gift of this queen is to tap into that, to tap into our receptivity. And Mary White talks about this queen as your holy grail. This is the cup bearer, the one who asks you, what is it that you want in your heart of hearts? And I feel like with also an acknowledgement from the Creator of this connection of heart of hearts and the link to ancestral knowledge, there is a power here to heal karma, to heal ancestral karma, to heal deep family trauma. And this also links us to the idea of Cancer, Cardinal Water, Queen of Cups, as with its deep connection to mother, family trauma, birth trauma, and the potential to tap into and reach all of that through the healing of this energy. And I think in asking these many layered questions, what is it that you truly want? If you could let the periphery, if you could let the external world fall away, and for a moment only reflect within with what would truly make you happy, that would make your spirit sing, your physical body dance, what would you want? And what would that place, what would that experience, how would you feel? That is the place of the Queen of Cups. I think of all of the queens, she is the one that is most always at home in her heart, and so very comfortable with who she is. She is the water of water, and so has this ability to dance and to flow and to be, to truly be. And she is all of those hippie stereotypes. She is the one who can hold space for every heart and every feeling. And yeah, I just think she's absolutely extraordinary. And with the connection to Aquarius and to winter solstice, it almost takes this to a higher level, a higher, if it can go any higher, higher frequency, a divinely guided frequency. And this also connects the idea of heart and mind, or heart chakra and Agnya chakra, pineal gland to heart, this connection of truth and living in alignment and living in authenticity and all of those things. Each of the queens in the Mariel Tarot has a gem, and this one is the pearl. And I could see, and the pearl being that gem that starts as a piece of sand, and through time, through ancestry, through time, through lineage, through all kinds of transitions of the ocean, is able to form this incredible gem that we call a pearl that comes through tides and waves and all kinds of friction and erosion and challenges. And it truly is a thing of beauty to behold a natural pearl born under such conditions. And this pearl, or three of them actually, because the number 3 is connected to the queens through the third Sephira, the great sea of Binah, is held within the body of the crab. And the crab is both soft at the center and hard on the outside, and not opposed to, through its life cycle, it does molt, and at times is completely vulnerable. But the shell, the idea of the shell, and this as a protection for the crab, is that metaphor is there as well too. And we also see the lotus at the pineal gland, at the frontal point of the third eye chakra, and that transition. And so interesting that it's connecting mouth and third eye. And so that is a connection of voice and truth, or voice and clear sight. And the idea of the lotus, and the lotus being a part of our awakening and larger perception, and the fact that these chakras need to be in alignment for that to happen, is part of asking that question: what do you wish? What is your holy grail? And she is the one that holds space for your heart of hearts, and this place of divine perception. And there's something funny about this painting, the way she's off center, not perfect, leaning a little bit. It's like she's, I don't know, it's like she's comfortable with being uncomfortable. And this one, we see the colors, right? The colors of pink, the skin color, the black hair. We do see a background of the sea. And in the Devil card, there's a filter. There's a filter over the painting. And I have not verified this, but I believe that, I feel that this painting was a full color painting, that it is likely there was water, blue water, there was land color in the background, there were different colors in the devil, the feathers, the horns, the all of the symbols that we see in this card. And then if you work with any sort of digital art, I work with Canva all the time, I know exactly which filter this is to turn the artwork purple. And when I did the episode where I talked about this card the first time, I did talk about the color purple, and Dee was there, and we had this conversation about its richness and its high frequency and its connection with royalty, and the fact that it's a union of masculine and feminine, of blue and red. And yet I didn't talk about the idea that it may very well be a filter. And this is yes, I totally get that. I agree very much, Clevis. I don't have that deck right at my fingertips. I did a major cleanup at the end of the year. If you have that deck, pull it out. That's a great comparison. And you all know, who've been studying tarot, that there is this idea of filter with, or mask with the devil. How are you presenting yourself? And the way you present yourself, is that from a place of authenticity, or is that from a certain expectation, a role that you are wearing and holding, or even protecting? And in other tarot decks, we often see chains or ropes or some kind of binding to the devil. And those masks and those traditions and those personas and hats, many hats that we wear, feel very much like that filter. And it's a smoke screen. It's a layer of protection. And when I work with a lot of different clients, and one of the things I often say is, you have, I won't necessarily say completed, but made great strides with your work when you transition from home to work, from home to family of origin, from family of origin to gatherings with friends, and you don't change your filter. That you are you, and you are able to present yourself as yourself, and you are so comfortable in your skin that there is no need to change filters. And I think what we're looking at in these two cards is an aspect of a filtered and unfiltered self. Among other things. Now, the idea of transformation and healing is also very much a part of this devil card, that if we are able... So one of the... Sorry, I'm going to go back. Scratch that. Go back. This filter, this mask, this shell that encases our perceived identity is symbolic of the devil. And Marie White's take on this is that there is the potential for all of that to break free if we embrace the spirit within. And the spirit within is symbolized through the symbol of the caduceus, the idea of the chakras. So the chakras beginning at the root, and the way they go back and forth from the Ida Pingala from the Ida and Pingala nadis, and at each chakra they weave back and forth and transition through each chakra point, eventually arising through the crown. And you see here in the halo, or above the head of the devil, or the mask of the devil, perhaps the beginning of an awakening. Could this queen reversed become the devil? The false attraction of this lovely queen when reversed? I think so. And I think that is why we need to be careful how we respond to that question. Who are you? And what is it you want to become? Because you could become the one who wears the mask and lives in this place of falsehood. Now, going back, the idea of the caduceus, the idea of the energy ascending through the chakras, and whether they are mini awakenings or full awakening experiences, are due to a harmony, a harmonization of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. The divine feminine energy becomes awakened and begins to stir. And that energy begins to rise. And when that energy rises through the pineal, through the crown, meets the divine consciousness, and then descends through the Sushumna Nadi, through the spine, to become an awakened being. And I think there's a question here of potential, and how do I bust this open? And in both of these cards, there is a sense of shell and protection. And a protection, and see in the crab, there's the protection, but also the potential of the pearl. And in the devil card, there's the filter and the protection of the body, and also all these horns, right? It's like a scorpion. It's got these points and these things sticking out that are gonna. It's protection. Whether you call it mask or horns or tentacles or filter, whatever it is, it's concealing what truly lies within, and what truly lies within is your beautiful and brilliant spirit. And we also see in the devil card all of the elements at the points of the pentagram. And as I'm looking at this purple card, I feel like it's immersed in water. Like the whole thing is like that. The head, if you look in the background, you see the little bits of white at the side. I kind of feel like that's the beach, and this whole, it's like a statue has become submerged in the water, and just the mouth and above are sticking out of the water. Prickly, yeah. And they both have this long neck. And, that is so interesting, the idea of the neck, right? This passageway that connects throat to mouth to pineal gland. It's actually a long space, a long passageway to get from throat to third eye chakra, especially when you have a neck this long. Yeah, very, very interesting. So because I see the devil as immersed in water, it also gets me thinking about these connections. Sorry, wiggling my table. These connections between Scorpio, death, and the devil. And with Scorpio energy, so many of these principles apply, that in order to know who we are, in order to know what lies at our root, in order to awaken the Shakti, the divine feminine energy within, in order to stir things up so that the pearl begins to develop, we need to dive into the darkness. Dive into the depths of the water. Dive into the great sea of Binah to discover who we are and what it is that we want. So when you ask, dear member, isn't it crazy how these two cards look alike? It's, yeah, there is a lot that goes on here, both above and underneath the surface. Are either of these beings truly awakened? And if so, have they made different choices? Two sides of one coin, one can't become without the other. And when you are seeking a tarot reading, or you're going to therapy, or however you are dealing with your stuff, at whatever stage you're at, it takes a while to process. It's, yes, there is a process of letting go and burning away and dissolving the old so that I can move into the new. However, that energy, that history or her story will always be a part of you. It's a part of your development and all that you've learned and grown through to become who you are. And if you are to awaken to some degree, you realize that it's about a marriage of your darkness and your light to accept your wholeness, your oneness. And this tarot is so freaking clever. Like this one, I talked about the connection, and this is a card that is often connected to the devil. But in a way, it's like, now I'm thinking here that this, so it's whether you see it as a man and a woman, or there's a dissolving that happens here. And also the red in the background looks an awful lot like the phoenix in the judgment card. So I feel like there's a transition here that if we truly can transition to become one, all that is an honoring and a recognition of the fact that we always have been one, and we are a part of the other one. I've shared with you before the Pranamida mantra, and my very simplistic connection there, that you can't add to the whole. The whole is whole, and you can't take away from the whole. The whole is still whole. It's still one. So if we take away from one, we still have one. And if we add to one, we still have one. One is one. One is whole. 1 plus 1 is 1, and 1 minus 1 is 1. The beauty is in understanding the one. And I remember I had this yoga inspirer, and every email she signed her emails one, and it really bothered me for a long time until I got it one day. And this is part of this conversation. And I like this expression, Dee. The lovers are redeemed within each other. And there's a soul. I was going to say a solve and coagula. There's also a. It's like the old man will die, so the young woman can thrive, and then she will become the old man, and then he will be reborn. It's this recognition of connection and the beauty of connection. And yeah, so those are some of my observations of these two cards, and I cannot say enough about the incredible things in this tarot. And I should put the death card on the table, but as I was saying, that the threes, the third Sephira, connected to the queens, and even in Golden Dawn correspondence that still applies, and 3 Empress and 313 have this connection with death as a 3. And if you look at these two cards as well too, or even all 3 of them, this is very much a part of this story. And in Marielle's astrological associations, death is connected with Aquarius. So it's really it's not an inaccessible tarot if you allow the connections to reveal themselves and trust in how you respond to the cards. I hear, not weekly, but frequently, well, no, I can't work with that deck. It doesn't make sense to me. It's so confusing. And all I can say is just, it's a deck that you need to practice with and take time with. There are some extraordinary correspondences in this deck if you give it time and you give it space. So there you have it. A response to your question. And if there are other cards you wish me to compare in this deck, please reach out, and I'm happy to talk about this deck at any time. I want to wish you a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. Thanks to Dee and to Clevis for adding to the conversation.